Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens preview. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Been a minute since I did a Ravens video. And while, yeah, there was some news in this offseason, just didn't feel as big as last year. Last year, the huge controversy, I guess, maybe, with Lamar Jackson and his contract and all the mudslinging on social media that went back and forth between the organization and Lamar, or Lamar's camp. Didn't feel the same. Just didn't feel the same. And so I kind of had this idea that, well, I would do a preview show before the draft and a review show after the draft. That sounds like a thing, right? I'll talk about some of the departures and some of the arrivals. Remember, what's the opposite of departure? Took me a while to figure that out. And try to, identify where I think the holes are and where I think the Ravens should pick. And since I actually am doing this on draft day, waited a little bit because it doesn't make sense to push a video out at 5, 6 o'clock, maybe even 7, because I did Orioles video earlier, without talking about who the Ravens picked in the first round. I'm well, I might as well just wait a little later and then pause the video and then come back after the pick and talk about the pick a little bit. So as you can see, I'm on BaltimoreRavens.com, and let's get into some of the things. This is a news page. I was going to find articles just to have some kind of background. All right, who wrote this article? This is a cover story written by Ryan Mink, Zach Orr. Remember, a few years ago, linebacker. Played linebacker very well for this team, but he had, I want to say it was a neck injury, and he can walk and everything, but it's yeah, you shouldn't be playing football anymore. So he didn't, and he got into coaching. Worked with Mike Macdonald when Mike Macdonald was here several years ago, and this is, who was the defensive coordinator back then? I guess, was it Martindale? I don't remember all these guys' names. McDaniel left, Zachary Orr stayed, and then when Mike McDaniel came back, over the last 2 years, Zachary Orr worked directly under him. So Zach Orr has the experience coaching a defense. Does he have enough to be the defensive coordinator? Man, that's tough to say. I mean, you'd like to think, oh, well, you should spend some more time in, coaching the lower levels of the defense. Well, I mean, he was just on the field 5 years ago, starting at linebacker. I think he could do it. Though at the same time, I would have liked Mike McDaniel to stay. Make Mike McDaniel the head coach, Zach Orr your defensive coordinator. You have that Zach Orr has a shoulder to lean on in Mike McDaniel. And I know everybody's oh, what about Harbaugh? You want to get rid of Harbaugh? Yeah, kind of. Also, you could have promoted Harbaugh, right? I mean, are there rules to say how many people in the front office you can have? Could you have the super supreme coaching of all coach, assistant to the GM? Could you make a new position and just promote Harbaugh to that? Could you? And then Mike McDaniel has somebody to lean on. Could you do that? I think you could have done that, but Ravens decided not to. Few questionable decisions by the Ravens, I think. But also some really good decisions. And that's, kind of the crux of the problem here. This is one questionable decision I think was kind of weird. Ravens traded Morgan Moses to the Jets. All they got was a 4th and a 6th round pick. Ravens also gave up their 135th pick as well. So you go from having Morgan Moses and who wrote this article here? Ryan Mink, editorial director, wrote this article here. So you had the 134th pick in the 4th round. Actually, this was a compensatory pick, and I'll show you that a little later. So you move up 22 spots. You also give up Morgan Moses for this 6th-round pick. I mean, I guess. I guess that's a good deal. It saves cap money. Not that they really need to because the cap skyrocketed. But, I mean, okay. So, yeah, let's make another hole in the offensive line. I mean, you already had. Honestly, I thought Moses and Stanley kind of suspect, though at the same time, I think the NFL is at a turning point where pass rushing is a huge deal. You need good pass blockers. You really do. And I don't know that Stanley and Moses were up to snuff there. Other big departures here, Patrick Queen and Gus Edwards. Oh, and I couldn't find an article for everything. Dobbins is gone. Duvernay's gone. Beckham's gone, which is okay. Had kind of a lot of people leave. Ryan Mink also wrote this. Kevin Eck wrote this article. Jadeveon Clowney priced himself out of the Ravens' range. Essentially what they mean is Jadeveon played too well. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I mean, okay. I mean, he came to the Ravens on a 1-year deal, and I think a lot of us were going to say, oh, he's going to have a great year. Well, he's going to be more expensive next year. Nah, he went to Carolina, I think it was, right? Whew. I mean, other names that I didn't mention. Simpson, the left guard, he is not returning. Zeitler, also not returning. So, wow. You got Linderbaum at center, Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. Oh my God, that sounds terrible. Also, you have some of the backups, and I will get to that later. Whew. All right, well let's get into who did the Ravens add, or at least according to Ryan Mink's headline here, 1-year extension for Nelson Agholor. Got to get into some of the good news. Okay, so Agholor had an okay year. I mean, between Flowers and Beckham and Agholor and Bateman and Likely and Andrews, again, I've said it before, there's only one football. So, Agholor just didn't get as many looks. I thought he performed fairly well given his limited touches. So, we'll see what another year does. Big news here. Justin Madubuike, 4-year contract. $98 million. This article was also written by Ryan Mink. $98 million. Wow. Wasn't expecting that one. Though some of that is because the salary cap jumped way up. Because we're finally, or at least we think anyway, we're finally past the COVID effects. Money was down. Revenue, I guess, is how they usually say it. Revenue was down because of COVID and, ticket sales and concession sales and all that. Well, finally in the rebound, past the rebound period and more growing period now. All right, who else? Okay. Ravens get compensatory pick. Something. I don't even remember who wrote this article here. Ryan Mink again. Couldn't see why exactly they gave the Ravens a compensatory pick. Usually it's when they lose a key free agent. I'm not sure exactly who it was. Oh, it's because the loss of Ben Powers last year's free agency. So we got an extra 4th-round pick, which was this 4th 134 pick, the one they traded away. So this is a list here of all the picks that the Ravens have. They have the 30th pick, then the 62nd pick, then the 93rd pick, and then 129. Wow. They do still have 4 picks within the first 130. That's not terrible, I guess. can get some quality players. Sorry, I'm got the TV on behind you, watching the draft now. So, I mean, they do have the picks to replenish some of those losses. Yeah, between Matabike and Derrick Henry, it's tough to say. Was that enough for a video? Probably. I don't know. I got kind of distracted. Baseball starting back up and whatnot. Also, because neither one are quarterbacks, it really didn't feel like there was enough, though there probably was. Derrick Henry came here, also by Ryan Mink. Is Ryan Mink the only person that works for BaltimoreRavens.com here? Where does it? $16 million for 2 years. 2 years, $16 million. It's not bad for a running back. I'm sure there were some incentives. It's $9 million guarantee. That's weird. Okay. So it says a 2-year deal, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, it's for a reported $16 million. Henry confirmed the agreement on Tuesday. Whoa, that's... I always yell at myself. Come on, Ryan Mink. No. Henry confirmed the agreement Tuesday. You don't say on Tuesday. I know we say it, but as far as grammar goes, you're not supposed to use on Tuesday. Which is reportedly worth a max of $20 million and has a $9 million guarantee. So there's incentives there. There's another $4 million incentives. So that's not terrible. Okay, yes, Derrick Henry is getting a little older. He has rushed the ball a lot. It's not a bad price considering, Matabike is getting $24 million a year. You get a running back of Derrick Henry's caliber for $8 to $10 million a year. It's not that bad. But again, we'll see how much tread is left on these tires. And I'm sure, and we think we're going to see. Who the hell knows with the Ravens offense and if they'll decide to run the football. Dumbass. Damn Monken. Ravens reworked Ronnie Stanley's contract. Probably why they chose to deal with Moses and not Stanley. Maybe Moses wouldn't restructure his contract. Maybe he didn't have enough years to restructure contract. But Stanley, they were able to restructure the contract, get his cap hit down a little bit. Again, this article was written by Ryan Mink. Need to hire some more people. Did we extend him years or did they just restructure the contract? Can't remember if we have to have him for another year or two or something. Saving several $million. Okay. Was that $9 million against the cap, really? It's not like he's not getting that, just the way they restructured it. It's somewhat confusing how they work these contracts and when the money goes into effect and what year counted against the cap. Because it's not even in the same year. A lot of times it's weird. Bringing back Arthur Millette to a 2-year deal. So another 2-year deals of another 2-year deals. Another 2 more years of Arthur Millette, which I'm fairly excited about. Now, I don't know how he would fare as a starting corner, but as that slot corner, and in the box corner, blitzing corner, he did really well at that. Really well. Hopefully we can keep Humphrey and Stevens on the outside. You got Geno Stone left, so it looks like Marcus Williams and Hamilton are going to be starting safeties. Arthur Millette all by himself in that nickel position, that slot position. Okay, I mean, could work. Could work. We'll see. We'll see. Don't hear about them bringing in too many linebackers. I think, yeah, Queen did leave, but they have Trenton Simpson, and they picked up last year or the year before, and they think he's going to turn into a really good linebacker. It's okay, somewhat raw, but with Roquan coaching him up, hopefully a little bit, I think they're okay at linebacker. It's another. Got a few. This is finally Clifton Brown, BaltimoreRavens.com staff writer. Finally, somebody else writes an article for BaltimoreRavens.com. Josh Jones to a 1-year contract. Josh Jones, offensive tackle, somewhat of a veteran guy. Tried looking up some of his numbers, and it's kind of hard with offensive linemen because unless you're looking directly at sacks given up or penalties, there's not really a lot to go on. Of course, I looked this guy up, and he was with Houston last year. Here you see 2 offensive holding penalties when we played them early in the year. Another holding penalty and another false start penalty. Oh, that's not that bad, right? Well, look at this. This right here where I'm highlighting here is snap percentages that he played. 100% game 1, 100% game 2, 100% game 3. Inactive for game 3 or for week 4. Inactive for week 5. 0 for 6, 7%. Week 7, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Up to 8% of week 14. Inactive, 0%. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. Why? Draft a tackle in the 7th round. I don't care. I think probably rather have that than this guy because this guy doesn't look that good. I mean, he looked like he played 3 games. He had 4 penalties. It's not great, but I mean, okay. I think that's the idea is that he's just going to be a depth piece. He's not. We don't know that he's going to get a starting job yet. Kyle Van Noy returning. 2-year deal for Kyle Van Noy. So we lost Clowney, but we're keeping Van Noy. All right, that's cool. Still got Owe. Jabbo. I don't know. Is he ever going to get on the field? They drafted him injured. How many games did he even play? He's been in this organization for how many years? Has it been 2 or 3 years? He's been injured, 80% of the time. Wow, okay. Again, I said Duvernay left, so Deontay Hardy signed by the Ravens. Ryan Mink wrote this article. Who wrote this one? Ryan Mink wrote that one. Clifton Brown, okay. How many years? 1-year deal. All right, cool. So we got a return man. So it's not a hole that needs to be filled. And contract extension with Rashad Bateman, who secondly was still on the rookie. Ryan Mink wrote this article. Is it just them picking up? No. See here, Ryan Mink writes, Bateman set to go into his 4th season. Ravens were going to have to decide on whether to pick up the option. Because he was on his rookie deal. There is a team option for a 5th year. Well, the Ravens just went ahead and worked a contract extension. So that's not. I mean, I guess in a way, yes, they're picking up the extension, but they made their own contract. Did they say how many? How long? I didn't see a timeline for this. Through the 2026 season. So what is that, 3 years? 24, 25, 26, 3 year? Okay. I mean, that's fun. Look, I mean, again, if Odell Beckham Jr. hadn't been here last year, Bateman would have had more opportunities. Aguilar would have had more opportunities. He would have looked a lot better because would have been involved in the plays. You know? How involved was Rashad Bateman? Of course, people want to say the way his attitude. It's like, well, I mean, not that I necessarily blame him. I didn't like that the Ravens gave Odell Beckham all that money. I mean, they didn't even get their money's worth out of him. But I mean, however. Alright, so now coming to the end of this portion of the video, and let's talk about some of the holes that still need to be filled. I think, as far as starters go, I think the Ravens are okay in the secondary. They didn't lose anybody. Geno Stone, they lost Geno Stone. But they had 2 safeties, so again, they didn't lose a whole lot. Yes, they did lose Patrick Queen in their linebacking core, but honestly, they didn't run that many linebackers. And we do think Trenton Simpson might turn out fairly well. Now, you lost your Davian Clowney, but brought back Urban, re-signed Matabike. I guess technically you can call Van Noy a linebacker. He's more of a edge rushing guy. Linebacker, I guess. So, kind of a swing guy. And then there's Ojabo and Owe. What are you going to see for them? So I think the hole that needs to be filled on the defense is pass rushing. Part of that is, the nature of the NFL now. You got to rush the passer and you got to protect the passer. And you got to run the football. Well, Ravens addressed that. They got themselves a big-time running back. Okay, they got the quarterback in Lamar Jackson. Is he the greatest passer? No. But he can score some points, right? And he's got Zay Flowers. He's got Bateman again. And he's got Nelson Aguilar again. Hopefully Mark Andrews stays healthy. And got Isaiah Likely. Look, you got a lot of offensive weapons. What do you not have? So far, you got Tyler Lindenbaum at center. You got Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. And these yahoos. From left to right in this article written by Ryan Mick and Garrett Downing. So from left to right, or, you know what? I don't know what the hell side you're going to see it from. But you got, you can see here at the picture here. Ben Cleveland, Andrew Voorhees, Daniel Balele, Salamave Lalu. I'm sorry for butchering your name. I'm terrible. These guys. Wow. Voorhees, they snatched up late in the draft last year because he was injured. Again, taking a runner on an injured player. We'll see if Friday the 13th over here can see the football field. I don't know. Ravens not having too much luck with that. Drafting injured guys. Early thought is that Ben Cleveland will slot in for Zeitler at right guard. So between Voorhees, Falele, and Alu and Josh Jones. What was the guy's name? Josh Jones. The other 2 spots. Personal opinion, I'm not in the Falele camp. I think that man is way too big for pass blocking. Like, he is so big. How do you move to pass block? Looks like he could run block for anybody. He could run block the whole defense for your running back because he's huge. Mobility, pass blocking, I don't know. This other guy, I don't even know who that is. I've never seen him before. He plays for this team. I mean, as much problems as we were having with Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses last year, we didn't see this guy out here. Well, there's probably a reason for that. So, where do I think the holes are? Pass rushing and offensive line. That's where the holes are. Where else are the holes? I mean, you could say linebacker, but you got Roquan Smith, so the other guy is going to be an edge rusher. So pass rusher, offensive line. That's what the Ravens need. We'll see what they draft. Watching now. I'm actually moving. Actually, I'm taking too long to do this video. That's why we're so far along in the draft than I thought we'd be. Of course, it's still in the single digits. It's been on for an hour. We're still in the single digits. Oh my God. Oh well. I think the Ravens need to find themselves a good pass blocking tackle. I would love to say that pass rusher is higher on the list, but some of the weapons that they have on defense, again, Millette returning, Hamilton's still around, Roquan Smith leading the middle there. I think there's less of a need for pass rusher than there is for offensive tackle. Because based on what I've seen, and because I've never seen Voorhees play because he's been injured, this Lalu, he didn't make the field either. It's like, these are the jokers that you want to protect your... How many millions of dollars are they paying Lamar Jackson? You need better tackles. Stanley doesn't look that good. Honestly, he doesn't. I don't even know if he's injured or he's over the hill or whatever it is, or pass rushing has just gotten that good by some of these young guys, and he just can't keep up. You need an offensive tackle. You need an offensive tackle. I think you need a guard. And then I think you should go pass rusher. That's saying a lot for me because I think defense more than anything. But at the same time, you lose Lamar Jackson because you can't pass block, and you might as well just pack up and leave. You're done for the year. You're not going to do anything. I mean, how they made the playoffs 2 years ago, I don't even know. Terrible schedule. And, of course, they got bounced in the first round. So, of course, if they had Derrick Henry then, they could have just handed him the ball. Which would have been nice, but oh well. All right, so I want the Ravens to go offensive line heavy in this draft. If anything, draft, what do you got, 8 picks? Draft 5 offensive linemen and 3 pass rushers. Don't draft anybody else. I don't care. Of course, I mean, you might need to draft another running back. I mean, Dobbins, Gus Edwards are gone, so no idea if Keaton Mitchell will come. So, all right, fine. Draft a running back in there somewhere. But don't go too high because he's probably going to get injured. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to pause this. I've done this before. I will pause the video, and I'll come back after the Ravens pick, and who the hell knows? Like another 2 hours probably. Oh my God, draft day takes way too long. All right, so bye for now. All right, making sure. Trying to make sure the thing is, my times are lined up here. Oh, wait a minute. Let me take you back to... All right. Wow. I think every year it boggles my mind that 30 picks takes this long. Holy shit. What are we at? 3.5 hours. Pick is in for the Ravens. 3.5 hours later. Wow. It's just, all right. So, wow, what has been going on? A lot of quarterbacks taken in the first. what is it? What did they take it? 6 in the top 11 or 12? Wow, that's kind of thought a lot of offensive linemen would go. Of course, they did. Pick is in with Ravens are still not telling us yet. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit too much here coming back on, but I'm kind of it's getting late, man. I want to get this video up. I think looking at I'm watching ESPN's version of this and or coverage, I guess. Looks like Ravens might have opportunity to get a pass rusher here because so many offensive players, linemen, what were they up to? Like 16, I think, last counted. 16 already. So a lot of the defensive players have just fallen back in the rounds because offense heavy. Could we get this pass rusher? Could this pass rusher actually do something better than like OA? Or corner, okay. They say a corner's next best. 2 corners and then a pass rusher. So, I mean, if 1 and 2 are corners and 3 is a pass rusher, I mean, the Ravens are probably going defense here. But we'll see if ESPN ever decides to tell me what the pick is. Refresh. I wonder if their website has it up yet. No. Yeah, I don't know. I was debating on when should I come back? When should I come back online? And I mean, I kind of want to be here for when I see this election. But good God, why they draw this out so much? Why? Nate Wiggins, cornerback, Clemson. I don't know anything about Nate Wiggins. Here you go. Got like some kind of, I don't know what even website this is. I'm curious as to more curious how tall he is. Roll outside man press Q cornerback. Okay, cool. That's nice. He's listed as 6'2" here. Okay. Okay. So 6'2" corner. That's where the Ravens go. All right. Not what I was expecting, because I figure, I guess in a lot of ways it does make sense, because I think Marlon Humphrey his ability has declined. So you got to get his heir apparent. And hopefully this Nate Wiggins can be that guy. 6'2". I see a lot of corners at 6'2". Hey, man, I don't know. It's weird. Are we all of a sudden are we becoming a secondary team? I mean, how many big defensive players have we had? Linebackers, defensive linemen, and several good defensive backs. It's odd that that's one of our strengths now, where we've had great players there before. Was it strength, pass rushing ability, linebackers, the side to sideline guys? Seemed like that was always his strength. I mean, Marcus Williams back there playing center field. Kyle Hamilton, kind of a down in the box safety kind of guy. Does bring that physical nature and the quickness. Brandon Stevens had a great year last year. Arthur Millett's still around. Got this new guy, probably the dime guy, right? Because if we got Humphrey, well, I don't know. Do we still have Darby or Rocky Yassin? I have to check on that. All right. Let's go back here and try to leave off with this if they've updated this, and they have not updated. What is this? I don't know what that is. Oh. They didn't even update their own website yet? Haven't even updated their own website yet. They made the picks. Haven't updated their own website yet. Okay. I mean, however, that's weird. All right, BaltimoreRavens.com. Don't do your website. Okay. So we'll wrap this up here. Got a lot of big name departures from the Ravens. It's kind of disappointing to see people like Mike McDaniels, Patrick Queen go. Yeah, our relationship with Patrick Queen got kind of off to a rocky start. He was placed in the middle, which really wasn't his forte. Moved him to the outside. Seemed to play a lot better. It's kind of disappointing to see him go. It's disappointing to see Clowney go. But it's just the way it goes. And it allows you to bring in people like, say, a Derrick Henry. And you now drafted, at least this year, 2024 draft, with your first round pick, the 30th pick. Yay. You got a cornerback. 6'2" cornerback. Which you would expect the taller guys, a little less speed than the faster guys, which is why a lot of corners tend to be 6 foot or like 5'10". They're usually faster, but some of these receivers are big and tall. Cincinnati's got a bunch of them. See how this young man, Nate Wiggins, pans out over the next several years. Several years for Baltimore Ravens, Zachary Orr, new defensive coordinator, to coach this young man up and make him, hopefully, one of the best corners in the league. I plan to have a Ryno's Ravens review show sometime after the draft. So look for that in the next few days. But be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Ryno. Fly Ravens fly.